All right, welcome back. You're still watching NTV Sport Knights. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's high time we get into our topical discussion this evening, which is going to center around the sport of netball here in the country. Like I did give you the preamble earlier on, ever since we ushered in new leadership under the guidance of Jocelyn Ochanda, should have been December 2024. So much has been happening. So much was found in place. So much has changed. And it's just important that we check in and see what's the latest regarding that particular sport here in the country. So our guest is set. Madam President Jocelyn Ochanda, good to see you. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, viewers, and good evening,
NTV Sport Knights.
It's been a minute ever since your reign started. How is it going so far?
So far, so well, I should say. Netball resumed itself, having gone into limbo for some time because of what happened. That was very unfortunate. But yeah, we woke up and resumed our National League, which was the most important activity for Netball Uganda. And right now, we have got teams. We have the Super League. We have got the second division for both male and female. So yeah, we are back on the road. Yes.
Which is really, really important.
Which is really important.
Because for us who sit on the outside, you know, we all knew what was happening, the fighting between the Federation and, you know, the National Council of Sports. But when you walked into the office, what was the perspective of what exactly was happening to the sport from where you sit as the president?
Well, when we walked into the office, we found that all activities of netball were suspended. So our players, who are our main focus, we refer to them as athletes. Our athletes, who are our main focus and target, had got scattered. They were attracted to other sports like basketball, like handball. Others gave it up and left the country. So we found that the game was scattered. So we had to sit and plan how to bring it back. And bringing it back meant that we had to attract these athletes back. And the only way we could do it was to start the league. It wasn't easy because when we came in, we didn't have a license. It had been suspended, and which meant that government would not give us any funds because there was a lot of things that had gone under there that made government to suspend the license. So they could not deal with us until we get that license back. And since then, it's been a long journey trying to put back the license. But we are very confident that this year we shall get that license. But right now the team is in place. We have clubs that are playing in the Super League. We have our national team that has been competing in various tournaments, both in the region and internationally. And we have so many activities lined up for us this year.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to take you to that period when the sport was in turmoil or limbo, like you said, because before you also became president of the federation, you are attached to a team, or you run a team that plays in the league. That's a league, a netball club. These wrangles or the infights at club level as an administrator, how did they affect the sport at that level?
Because the clubs are run by institutions, and institutions fund these clubs. So the tournament went on without stopping during that period, only that the standards that were set at the time were that each club had to pay 5 million to be able to participate in the Super League, and the clubs could not afford that. They made part payments, even NIC at the time. We had to request them to reduce that fee so that we can have a sensible tournament, because it wouldn't be good to have a tournament of 5 clubs instead of having 10 clubs. So we tried to negotiate, but it wasn't to be. but we had to make a part payment, because if we had paid all of it, others would feel like, oh, we are not a team.
You had to be part of the team.
We had to be part of the team, and we had to make a part payment and promise that we'd pay the balance. So we were allowed to play, but it was tough in the sense that clubs had to leave. They couldn't afford it. Players had nowhere to go. And it was painful to see some of these athletes just getting out of netball, the game they love most, because the clubs couldn't afford it. Yeah, so when we came on board, we said no, let the clubs pay what they can afford. Let's first bring back everybody so that we get the numbers, and also we assure the players that we are here for you. It's not about money. Money will come, but let's first organize ourselves and have numbers in place.
Madam President, beyond returning sanity to the league and the sport, if you could mention a few actionable plans that you and your executive came into office to address at the end of your term, for example, what will you look back to and say, we came in for this and we actually achieved it?
Yeah, first things first. When we came in, we didn't have a home, we didn't have an office. The office which was occupied by the previous leadership was closed for one reason or the other. So we were practically nowhere. So eventually we secured an office space where we could operate our activities and also have an address for anyone who has a query, anyone who has a contribution, anyone who has an inquiry. At least they would know where to find us. So it was important that we have an address.
Where is that address at the moment as you proceed?
It is at the premises of National Council of Sports, next to Uganda Olympic Committee. There is a restaurant there which really prepares our local food.
Yes.
We've all eaten there.
So we are above that restaurant.
Oh, that building?
Yes, that building. Okay. Yes, we had to renovate it, fix a lot of stuff. Yeah, so that's where.
And also around that time, of course, when there was that turmoil, there was a lot of back and forth between the previous leadership, NCS, and the Minister of Education and Sports. Since you came into office, have you had any interface with the Minister of Education and Sports, the First Lady?
Not really. We have not had an interface with her, but we have had an interface with the State Minister.
Okay.
Yes, and of course National Council of Sports. We have met the chair, we have met the General Secretary, National Council of Sports, and other officials of National Council of Sports. Yeah, we look forward to meeting the First Lady. It is our dream. She knows most of us. She met us before. So I think she'll be excited to see us back.
Okay. Okay. I think Andrew's question about the actionable things that you want to get done.
Yes. Secondly, we need to establish a secretariat to run the activities of Netball Uganda. As the president and my executive, we cannot do the management and administration of netball. Ours is to come up with the policies, the strategy, ensure that we have a constitution in place and the constitution is fully registered and speaks to the people. So we need to have a secretariat that has got an administrator or a CEO that has an accountant to run the office. Right now, we don't have that secretariat in place yet because it needs funding to be able to run. So right now we have volunteers in place who are supporting the federation. But other than the secretariat, we are working towards having a home for Netball Uganda. Right now, we don't have a playground, an indoor courts where we can have competitions. We are looking forward to invite teams like England. They always ask us they want to come here, but we don't have the kind of flow that
We
is
now
of
have
international standard. We are yet to go and
and verify whether
we know that it is there, and we have been invited actually to go there and look at the courts, so by National Council of Sports, so that we can invite teams to come and play for us.
And talking about inviting teams like England, Madam President,
Yes.
when we have these big tournaments, you know, Commonwealth, when the national team is invited to go and play, and World Cup, and you see the performance of these girls, and in that moment, talk is, this country, Uganda, must be extremely organized back home. They must have the most amazing league. They must have the best funding. When you watch and you read the reports, that's the picture that you get.
Correct.
But you who knows the real story back home, how does that sink in your heart?
Yeah, when we go for those international tournaments, first of all, these big countries, the number 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, they think that we have the facilities. They believe that we are highly paid. They believe that our athletes have everything that requires them to compete at that level. They cannot believe that we don't even have a sprung floor, and we are training on tarmac, sometimes the hard ground. And they can't believe that our players, our athletes, after such big tournaments, they just scatter and go back to their homes. You know, some of them are mothers, some of them are students, but we compete with players who are professionals. Their job is netball. They wake up in the morning, they go to the gym, they go for, you rest, how many hours you sleep. But our girls here, we really don't track them that close. We don't know whether they've had lunch or supper.
Is actually keeping in shape and training. Payments, what they'll eat, contracts, all that is sorted.
All that is sorted. That is for world number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And world number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we come into 6. Yes. In Africa, we are number 2 after South Africa.
In results, not in facilities and
yes.
and money and yes.
In results and in ranking, but when it comes to funding and facilitation, we are not anywhere near South Africa. South Africa, their national players are they are paid a monthly allowance. They sign contracts. You cannot just walk away with one of in Europe.
Cultural shock.
Yes, but our girls have gotten used to such things. When they get there, you know, sometimes you'd see them looking around and trying to admire, and you're like, hey, please concentrate. Don't get distracted. Yeah, so, but despite all that, we love what we do. Our athletes are very resilient. They are very committed to what they do. They love what they do. And most of them have started this game right from primary through the system, the education system. The schools have done a very good job. They have very high competitive tournaments right from primary school, secondary school, even the university. So because most of them, we get them after senior 6, when they've joined the university, is when they come to the clubs. And that's where, as a national leader, we select them from the various clubs to join the national team.
Maybe you can also help us, enlighten us, or correct me if I'm wrong, because I was trying to do some digging up, and there are not so many professional netball leagues out there. You look at England, you look at New Zealand, and probably South Africa.
Australia as well.
Yeah, Australia and New Zealand, I think they play one league, if I'm not mistaken.
They have one.
And maybe the difference between us and those other countries where there are no leagues and stuff like that is that they do have the facilities. Now we don't have the facilities. And I remember even at the Netball World Cup in South Africa, on the final day of the tournament, the South African president who was in attendance, Ramaphosa, actually made a directive saying they wanted to give South Africa a home that was exclusively for netball. Because even when you watch some of their games and stuff like that, they are using indoor facilities that are also used for other disciplines. The difference is that they do have facilities that are not entirely theirs, but at least they are at a certain level. And so many people have concluded by saying that the state of netball in the country is not any different from netball elsewhere in the world, apart from a few places like England, New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. I don't know if you agree.
You mean for South Africa?
I mean us.
Us?
Yeah.
No, well, ours is totally different in the sense that we don't have the facilities
We have
where
nothing.
netball is properly played. And if you play on hard courts like we do, it impacts a lot on your knees and it weakens them. So if you're going to run on court for the full period, you're going to find that scientifically you're supposed to land on a floor which pushes you back up so that your knees are protected. But you find that it takes a toll on you and it affects your speed. Definitely it will affect your accuracy because you are very cautious of what is going on in your body. Yes, you can't compare with South Africa. South Africa has got better facilities. They can also hire high-profile coaches to train their teams. They have sponsors who will ensure that they have everything they need during the training sessions and the competition sessions. They have got energy drinks. They have got physiotherapists around. They have medical teams around. They have a relationship with certain hotels, because when we go there, we see that happening. They will ensure that they have meals, they will have the fruits, they have the energy bars to sustain them during the training sessions.
Madam President, especially on that point, if we are to pick it from there, two important points in that. One, the sponsors. How frustrating is it that despite the achievements of netball, especially the national team, all the way up, we still struggle to get someone to commit to you long term, to be with you long term, not just for PR purposes, but to actually make impact in terms of the investment. Two, you talked to us about, the partnerships with hotels, fruits, nutrition and all. I'm thinking as a federation, that's something you can actually work around with the different properties and, hospitality in the country. So the two of them, how the sponsorship and also what you can do to actually affect that.
Okay, thank you very much. As I mentioned, when we came on board, kind of setup. But once we have a home setup, for example, I don't know if you recall, we hosted Africa Championship here
in
Lugogo. It was full capacity. It was full capacity because people had where to sit. It was not hot. They could afford to have a bottle of water. But if you're sitting in a baking sun there, where do you go to buy water and stuff like that? Yeah, if you have a facility, you attract spectators, you attract sponsors. They need their brands to be in a decent environment. Yes.
Maybe also help us understand something, still in that line or direction. Of late, there is a lot of funding that has been going to different sports federations from government. Netball, one of them. And on so many occasions, these federations try to tie this funding on national teams. Why should it be like that? Why, in the case of netball, if you're struggling in certain areas, why not probably use that kind of funding to improve a few things here and there that can improve the sport and in the long run also improve the national team? Or that money is supposed to handle national team matters?
Not at all. Every year you submit a budget to National Council of Sports. And that budget is based on your activities for the year. It's not only the national team. The national team may travel twice a year, but throughout the year you have netball activities that range from the National League, the National Rally, the Novice, the regional competitions in the 8 regions, their competitions. And very soon we'll be having the President's Cup, that will bring 2 teams from each region to compete here in the city. So we have activities that are to be funded once we are availed the funds by National Council of Sports. It's not only the national team. When we get those funds, definitely it would include even a home. We budget for it. Not a mega home, but at least you start somewhere where the players can play under the shade, under the cool. You don't need to have a mega indoor stadium like MTN Arena. So we budget for that as well. We budget for training. We budget for friendlies. We budget for allowances. We budget for the coaches. So all that is in our budget. It's not only the national team.
Do you also budget for the men's netball?
Yes, we do.
You know, I have a curiosity about men's netball.
What's the curiosity?
The curiosity is, growing up, my mom is a girl guide.
Yes.
And also she played netball and kind of coached it.
Oh,
Not at that top level, but in school.
Yeah.
So when we were going to play football, the girls went to netball.
Correct.
So growing up, you're thinking netball is a girl's sport.
Correct.
So when you hear netball and men, they also have a league and national, try to educate people like me. How are there men that are passionate and they wake up and it's netball? You know, they research it, you know, they want to play and succeed as men playing netball. And how big of it is it in the country and on the continent, perhaps?
Yes, male netball is out there at international level. And just to educate you a bit, netball is not an Olympic game because we do not have male netball. To be an Olympic game, you must have both teams, male and female. So right now, netball is not there because we don't have male netball teams worldwide. So right now, World Netball has instructed that each one of us must have a male netball tournament going on, like the National League, which we are holding here. If we are having the national rally, we should include the male.
And that's what's
team.
happening there.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
And it is live, and recently we took a national team to Africa Cup, and they finished number 8. So we have a male team. They love the sport, and it's quite interesting. Just like you see girls playing football. Girls never used to play football, but they play football. That's why football is an Olympic sport. Basketball is an Olympic sport because they have both male and female. It's a qualification requirement that you must have both male and female. So it is a very good tournament. I should invite you and you come and watch the male. It's very interesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do they play? They have their own league?
Yes, for only male.
Okay.
Yeah, we play them side by side. The National League for the female and the National League for
So the fixtures happen on the same day, same venue, so
correct.
When you come, you get to watch everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Like right now, we are going to Kenya for East Africa Club Championship. This attracts both male and female. So we are taking male teams as well to Kenya.
So normally in other sports, like basketball, we've seen it happen in real time. When the fans allow, they take both teams. If they don't, they normally go for men. But in netball, I'm sure it's the reverse.
It has been that way, that when they are fans, we take the female.
Yes.
And I told them, you see, even the she cranes at one time traveled by bus to Malawi. Yeah. And that was the beginning of the success of the she cranes. Despite traveling by road, they were able to come back with a bronze. So when we told the male, they didn't object. They said, we can go by bus. And so we raised funds for them, and they went by bus. Yes, that's the beginning of success.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Andrew, I hope you definitely go and watch some men's football.
Absolutely.
We'll be waiting for that report.
Absolutely.
We'll be waiting for that report here on NTV, on
Yes.
NTV Sport Knights. We have a break that is coming up in just a few. But Madam President, we've been speaking about all these activities and everything else, and I have to keep reminding myself that you don't have a license, so you're not getting funding yet from government. So what have you been using for these activities thus far?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yeah, Netball Uganda has not been getting funds from government because we don't have a license. However, we get volunteers, sponsors, the executive members, and the clubs they've been paying 250,000 per club. So we use those funds to run the National League and to be able to pay the umpires who come to officiate these games, and also to pay for the facilities that we use sometimes. So we've been getting sponsors, individual sponsors, like you can sponsor that day and say, today I'll pay all the...
Always for the referees.
I'll pay for all the umpires for the game. Yeah, so really individuals have put in their funds to ensure that this federation is moving. And also we have sponsors who have sometimes brought fruits to us from Owino Market. They always bring fruits for the team. They bring water for the team. Yeah, we've got sponsors who have been really very kind. Yeah,
maybe just try to help us understand, and the viewers, why don't you have a license right now? Of course, it was revoked at the time when the previous federation was disbanded. But we thought that after the reign of the normalization committee, fresh elections are elected, new government comes into power, that you would apply for the license and you get it. But until now, there's no license. Why?
That's what it should have been. After the normalization committee concluded their assignment, we should have got the license. But then, actually, World Netball gave us back the license.
The international license.
The international license. But then the new Sports Act came into place. When it came into place, it required that all federations reapply and fulfill so many requirements before you get a license. So I think we were a little bit unfortunate that it happened at that time. Otherwise, we would have got our license.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are very confident that we shall get it.
Will you be able to ask for money that you used, perhaps, because I mean, they know you may not have the license, but they know you are working, they know you're having the national team. So do you think there will be an opportunity for you to ask NCS, you're like, hey, we've been supporting the game in the country, now you can give us that man and the new one under the new license? Is there such an opportunity?
To give us money under the new license?
I mean, what are you doing? Carrying the national team, training and everything. Who has asked you to do it? Are you doing it for free?
Well, they encouraged us to continue with all the activities. Yeah, they gave us a go ahead, and they actually supported us when we went for the Celtic Cup.
Okay.
They were able to support the national team. Were able to buy air tickets. Were able to feed the team. And the same funds took us also to Africa Cup in Malawi. Yeah, the government has really been very supportive when it comes to the national team.
Despite not having a license?
Despite not having
How is the process? How far are you from attaining the license?
Well, they set up the deadline. We should, by May, we should have
We are in May.
got it. End of May. We should have got it, yes.
Okay.
We are ready. We have got all the requirements in place. We have our constitution in place. We have added what the new act, the Sports Act, wanted us to include in the constitution, and yeah, we are ready. They want us to be in the regions, at least 75 regions, and we have done that. We are very active in the regions throughout the country.
Okay,
Yeah.
there is still so much to discuss. There is still so much to discuss. Also considering that the new netball season is around the corner.
Yeah.
We're just days away. We definitely will be delving into that as well. But for now, I want to take a break. But just to remind you that we have a poll question that is already up on our social media platforms. We are asking you, what do you make of the current state of netball here in the country? When we do return, we'll be taking loads of that feedback via the hashtag NTV Sport Knights. But also, much later, we delve into the discussion regarding the English Premier League. Andrew will be giving us an update of that game that is happening just now. Earlier on, he was on pressure because he wants a certain Manchester team to win, and then we'll be discussing that as well. But for now, it's a very... Is the result shocking? Have you checked it?
No,
Okay.
your allegations.
Okay. All right. Let's go for a break. When we do return, the discussion on the state of netball in the country does continue. Keep it here. All right, welcome back. You're still watching NTV Sport Knights. Thank you so very much for staying with us. The discussion about the state of netball in the country does continue. Just before we took the break, I had hinted that the new netball season is around the corner. It will be starting on the 23rd of this very month, if my mind serves me right. So there is still so much to discuss with the president of Netball Uganda, Jocelyn Wichanda, who is our guest this very evening. Madam President, like I did say, the new season starts this very month. But looking a little bit about last season, we did see, I think, Luwero, withdraw at some point because of the financial constraints. I don't know if I should even put this to you, considering you're operating without any funding.
With volunteers in office.
So how do we deal with this? Teams are struggling, but you two are struggling because you don't have funds.
Yes. Before the tournament starts, we meet the team managers of each club, and they commit that their clubs are going to participate in this tournament in the National League.
After laying everything on table, but
yes,
from where you sit.
Correct. They have to pay the participation fees.
Which is 250,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And also they have got to submit their team lists officially and the officials. Yeah, and so we sit with them and plan for the league. And once we have planned and agreed on the terms, then we release the fixture for those teams that have committed. And most of them have actually signed up to start the league. So we are going to have more than 10. Okay. Yeah, up to 15. Okay. Yes.
Clive, just a minute. I think the other change regarding this new season is the fact that the games are going to be played in different venues, unlike last season, which was the Helm Stadium, Nachivuo. What's the thinking behind this shift?
Right. Yeah, normally you're supposed to have games home and away to allow for these clubs to have their fans back home, also watch them play. For example, you talked about Luwero. Luwero people would want to see their club playing from home because they can't afford to travel to Kampala to watch this their club. So they all requested that we have home and away.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is a good one,
especially.
Yeah, you
need support.
Of course, there will be issues for travels for teams, but at the end of the day, in terms of spreading the game, it's the better way forward. Even for a sponsor, you want a community to belong to.
Yeah, and also the players love traveling to see the parts of the country. Some of them have never been to Kapchorwa, so for them it's fun really to go to Kapchorwa, and also for the people of Kapchorwa to play at home and with their fans watching them play, their parents, their
So
children.
does that mean that on a day we can have a match day with all fixtures played in Kapchorwa? If it is Luwero, it is Luwero. If it is Busia, it is Busia. Or?
Yeah, well, not all of them go at once. Yeah, you find that you can have like 4 teams in Jinja. Like even when we play here in Nachivubo, not everybody will play on that day. Yes, you play according to the dates that have been assigned to you.
Okay. Yes, earlier on you mentioned something to do with capacity building.
Yes.
Of course, you're not a member of UOC, but you're a member of the Commonwealth Games Association in Uganda. And it's also something that they have put a lot of emphasis. National Council of Sports of late, they also talk a lot about the issue of capacity building. What is the mindset around the netball community when it comes to trying to do things differently? Not wake up one night and say we are turning professional, semi-professional, but to start thinking in that direction of doing things a little bit differently as per what these different administrators study in these different courses at UOC, NCS, and these other places.
World Netball sets standards for these, for officiation, for example, that all the umpires that will officiate the game must be trained. We have different levels of training. You have the beginners, then you have got levels, level 1, 2, and 3. So if you're going to officiate a national league, for example, you must know the rules of the game. You cannot come and officiate such a high-profile league when you are level 1. So we are very, very strict because it's out of this national league that we select the national team players.
No, Madam President, I was meaning given at the level of administration, yes, how people think, how they should be running their clubs and stuff like that, because the idea is to try to do things different as we get to the next level. As a federation, you are under pressure to attract sponsors. Yes. If you want to attract sponsors, you should be able to do things a little bit differently. You cannot do that alone. Clubs should be able to also do that. If you want to attract funds, there are things you should be doing differently to be able to attract funds. As a federation, you won't be able to do that alone. You will need the help of the clubs to do that. So what is the mindset around these different clubs, the owners, the administrators, to try and start do things a little bit not the way they were done in the 80s or 90s?
I think a lot has changed. You cannot say that the clubs are run like they were run in the 80s and the 90s. For example, take for example at NIC, for example, I'm the team manager and I've studied sports. I have a diploma and I know what to do. So when we are recruiting coaches, we also look for coaches who are trained and have experience in the game so that your players know the rules of the game and they are going to look out for discipline, they are going to look out for teamwork, they are going to look out for leadership within the team, the captains, and also the other players. They are leaders in their own capacities. So other clubs, for example, let me talk about Uganda Police or prisons. Those institutions have got sports officers. Yeah. These are people who are trained. You don't just become a sports officer when you haven't done sports training. So those institutions have got sports officers. They don't just pick any police officer and say, okay, you're going to become the sports officer. So they are equally trained at that level. But yeah, we want to do better by emphasizing that we should also be having sessions for administration training, management and administration, train them in accounts, how to manage their books, even for the little funds they have as a club. They must know how to account for those funds. Definitely, institutions have got accounts departments that ensure that funds are accounted for. It's not free for all. There's a lot of administration that goes on around the management of these netball clubs. Even if you go to KCCA, you're going to find that KCCA has a department for sports, and they handle the funds, and the funds have to be accounted for. Before they release funds, you have to account for what you have received. And they also have sports officers who are trained at KCCA. It's not that they just pick on anybody to manage netball. They have trained officers that manage these clubs. So it's not like that's why we are an elite sport. There are structures within these clubs. And also with Netball Uganda now, and with the new constitution, you're supposed to sit as a club and you elect the leadership, and then also ensure that those in administration are trained. We have set standards as well. UOC supports us a lot. Even right now, we have some who are attending a course in Chambugo. It's going on right now. We have advised members to register and train. So we are into advancement. We want to compete with football and other federations. And I think it's a requirement also by the new Sports Act that you must have educated administrators in this sport.
Talking competing with football, do you get any funding from World Netball?
Well, World Netball does not give us funds per se, but they normally have a grant, which we haven't accessed yet because of what has been going on here. This grant, it is you have got to submit like a proposal of the activities you're going to do. They will release these funds actually for training, specifically for capacity building. You are not allowed to use them for team travels. You're not allowed to use the funds for team allowances or paying salaries or hiring an office or hiring courts. But they are majorly for training of umpires and coaches. Yes. We made a submission. They are yet to get back to us for that grant. They just give grants, but you must justify why you should get that grant. Especially you must have training programs for, including administrators, by the way.
I've not heard you speaking about communications anywhere, Madam President, and that's a crucial part. Something we keep fighting with federations about, communications.
Communication is very, very important. I think we know the importance of communication, but also communication doesn't come cheap. You have to pay for it if you're going to get quality communication. Otherwise, if you depend on volunteers, sometimes they will let you down. They will not show up. They cannot keep coming when you cannot even pay them transport. They need a lunch. So it is important to get a proper communications person when you can pay them. Then you get value for money.
I think what Justin is alluding to, you said your budget for activities.
Yes.
So you include that in your...
You don't budget for
communication.
Communication.
It's there. It's there.
Thank you.
We are, because we need, when we travel with these teams, even when we go to the regions or when we go abroad, we need publicity. Yes. And they always ask us, who is your communications person? Please submit their names. But you must buy a ticket for this person, you must accommodate them. And you are here looking for tickets for the team. So it's
well, of late, international tournaments are funded by government, so having a communications person on board shouldn't.
Yes, government has been, they funded us once when we went to Celtic,
the last
to Glasgow. Yes. And also when we went to Malawi. But when you submit a budget, they don't honor the entire budget. So you find that they'll give you 50% of the budget. And instead of taking 13, 15 players, you end up taking 12 because you can't afford it.
Madam President, Netball has given us a number of ambassadors.
A lot of
joy. And joy, of course, ambassadors worldwide. I saw a beautiful picture of you and Peace Proskovia there. Anything you want to say about Peace and what she's done for the game?
Oh, Peace Proskovia will always be the ambassador of Netball Uganda.
There it is.
There she is. interesting. That was at Lugogo. Miss Proskovia is a very strong charactered person. Her personality is big. She has represented Uganda very well in the UK, in Australia, and internationally. She has been an ambassador of Gilbert. Gilbert, yes, and also Uganda's ambassador. She's really big for that. And right now, as we go for Commonwealth Games, she's going to be part of us, to be with the team, supportive, and right now she's coaching in the UK,
Nice.
students, university students. So she has developed that skill, and who knows, eventually she
could deliver it back
Yeah,
home.
actually,
Yes.
that was my question. That what's the plan of Netball Uganda to have to integrate Peace Proskovia into the system? Because there's a time when we had a tour in the UK and she was part of the coaching staff.
Yes.
Are there plans of fully having her on board, especially with the national team?
Yes, we do. Even right now, when the team is summoned, she may not come here physically, but she can still do it online, interact with the team, interact with the coaches, give them tips here and there. And when we go that side, then she can be able to access.
Several players from Uganda.
Yes, because they knew that Uganda is very intentional. We do on court and off court. That's how, after she left Loughborough University, Mary Nuba joined
Yeah.
Loughborough University, following in her footsteps. Mary Nuba has gone to Australia, like she also went to Australia. Yeah, so you can see a trend of our players. Once you go professional and you're well disciplined, the sky's the limit for you.
Yeah, and since that there's been quite a number of people who have had professional stints. Farida,
Yes, Farida Kadondi went
at
to
Nottingham. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Farida went, and also Anisha Muhammad also was there, Team Bath thing. Yeah, she was there as well. Oyela Stella, she was also in Scotland.
Ayala is still active or she retired from
She
the
got
sport?
an injury and it took a toll on her,
Okay.
and she didn't go back to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. Quite a conversation. But
I think I still have a question.
please.
Yeah, please.
Of course, before we came on air, we were talking about whether you played netball.
Yeah.
How far did you play netball, and is this passion way back from primary, or you just got passion later to become an administrator?
I played netball in primary school, and when I joined secondary school, I could not play netball. Some schools don't have those facilities, but I still missed the game of netball. So when I finished university and started working, joined NIC, and I found they had a netball club. I picked interest right away. Every after work, I would go to them during the training. I'm there during the tournaments. I'm there. They are traveling. I sponsor myself. And eventually, the company decided to appoint me as the team manager. So once they appointed me, I said, well, this is big. I decided to enroll for a sports course at UOC and got my diploma in sports management.
Very interesting. Why is NIC so attached to netball?
It all started, I think, in the 70s. It was majorly for the staff. The management then wanted the staff to be physically fit. So they had a football team as well, very strong football team. By then, the late Sevana Chisto was the MD. There was a football team and a netball team for the ladies. That's how it started with the staff. Eventually, it spread out to students from the university. So most of the players at NIC are university students.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting. All right, President, our time is fast spent, so we should be wrapping up in just a few. And while we do that, I'm going to ask you to, to share your comments. Like we did hint earlier on, the new season is around the corner. What can we expect, especially the fans? I think that needs to be, I don't know what you're going to do to get more fans watching these league games, because the numbers weren't good enough for a while.
Yes, the numbers weren't good at Nachivubo. Entrance fee is 10,000. And our fans complained. You know, people
Is
have
that
got
determined by you or the management?
the management. And, you know, they've been watching netball free, walk in and walk out. So when we improved our standards and went to Ham Stadium, definitely you have to pay for the facilities. There are toilet facilities, very clean, high profile. You can access water, you sit comfortably. So all those come at a cost. And that really puts our fans away because it was expensive according to them.
What's wrong with the facility at Makere?
The facility has never been completed.
Parliamentarians were playing games the other day.
Yeah, they just, I think, I cannot comment because I didn't go there. But when we approached Makere University, they told us it's not ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe on the fee for payment, the communication needs to change. The messaging needs to change. It shouldn't be that your fans are paying for facilities. Your fans are supporting the players in terms of making sure they actually play the game. Because when you tell them that and they're thinking, oh, 10,000 is not even enough for me. So if you can contribute it towards the players, then that makes more sense.
Yes, out of that 10,000, actually, they give us, I think, 60.
60%?
They give us 40, I think they take 60 out of that. Yeah, so it's that's how it's divided.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the last one for me, or as a federation or as a sport, you have a very busy 12 or 14 months ahead. Of course, you have the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow coming up in August. Then next year you have the big one, the World Cup in Australia, a fourth straight World Cup that Uganda will be going for. What are you promising the country, especially with the Commonwealth Games?
Well, the She-Cranes will always go in to win. They don't fear any team. Actually, when we are going, England doesn't sleep. The Ugandans there will always say, you're really making it for us here right now, because they know that Uganda, we are on top of this game. And so when we go out there, the athletes do not fear any team, whether it's Team England, whether it is Team Australia, they'll go on court and play their game. And so they always go in to win it. But of course, you have to have your...
we can beat anyone.
We can beat anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, we can beat anyone.
Okay.
That tournament. Yeah.
All right, Madam President, thank you so very much for passing by NTV Sport Knights and giving us a quick roundup, because it's been a minute ever since you came into office. There's been so much to catch up with. This is a late show, so whoever comes here, we really, really do appreciate them sparing the time and coming on the show. We hope that every time we reach out, you'll be able to to speak to us, because like Clive did say, there is a busy 14 months, coming, and so we'll have to check in time and again to ensure that everything is going according to plan. So thank you very much for making the time.
I'm very excited.
Okay, before we see off Madam President, we're going to have a back in time. Yes, back in time to see what the producer has